whatever's going to emerge, whatever's going to emerge is going to be just perfect.
It's going to be good. Hey, welcome to the Savage Freedom Podcast. You motherfuckers know exactly how this goes down. I am super excited about today's episode because today I have got a very special guest. In fact, not only a very special guest, my first guest ever inside of the Savage Freedom Podcast. And you guys know, look, we talk about the idea of finding your purpose, truly defining who you are, defining what your purpose is, and understanding that your mission is the way you can deliver purpose into the world. Well, today on today's episode, you are going to have a conversation with me and Miss Niurka. Now, you guys don't know Miss Niurka or not heard that name before. She is a legit badass, 100% badass all the way through. She has done so many things and been so many places. She's worked with Tony Robbins for years. She has her own program and she has her own mastermind. You can look up niurkainc.com. Don't forget to go and check out the website. She is absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to say thank you for coming on and thank you for doing this podcast. It's an absolute pleasure. It's an honor. And I don't want to sing your praises too much because I don't want to overblow your ego, but you are a badass, Niurka.
Well, I'm excited to be here with you, Adam, and I'm excited to be with your community.
It's awesome. So, look, we talk about everything. We've talked about everything from, I've told my story of suicide. I've told a story about me shooting 100,000 rounds through a pistol. We talk about mentality. We talk about leadership. We talk about all this stuff. But one of the things that you and I have discussed multiple times, especially when I was out in Colorado, was this concept of like speaking shit into existence. And this is the crazy part. Okay, this is the crazy part. So I'm in Texas. So you guys can see animal heads and shit behind me right now. I'm in Texas at a hunting lodge, and we have been running a helicopter hog hunting season. This has been spectacular. But every person that comes here, they're all high net worth, very successful. They're all business owners, and we've had this conversation before. And one of the guys that I thought would be the least to say this, the least likely to say, you have to manifest it into existence. We were driving down, heading out to find a new landing zone for the helicopter. And he said, I mentor guys who want to be in business, or I mentor young men who want to grow and become better. And he is a tail chasing, bourbon drinking, cigar smoking shithead all the way through. And he's such a phenomenal fucking person. And he literally said, like in between dick jokes, he said, you have to manifest it into existence. And I went, holy shit.
I want to meet him.
Bro, he's phenomenal. I'll give you all his information. You'll have to look him up. He's based in Missouri and Kansas. He's such a great guy. But I thought, fuck, this is the piece I want to talk to you about. This is the thing that you do and have done so well. And the fact that every single person that's come through since mid-January so far has said, like every major leader has said the same thing. You have to manifest it.
See, that's super powerful. And often, you talked about when you were suicide, often it's like the contrast of what we don't want creates such a clarity about what we do want and what's most important to us. And in that space where we can begin to have a vision for how we want to live our life, what we're committed to have it look like, how we want to contribute, how we want to give, what we're not willing to tolerate anymore, begins to spark this vision, which is the beginning of manifestation. And a lot of times people feel stuck or blocked because they don't have a clear vision or it's fuzzy. So being able to tap in and then making sure that when you have this vision, is it alignment for you? Every single one of us has a unique purpose. Every single one of us has a unique expression. So it's like, how do you recognize who am I?
Yeah.
And being clear about that and aligned within that so that you're congruent. And then what happens is as you begin to align your power, and what do I mean your power? It's like your beliefs, your core values, your identity, your sense of self, your actions. This is what creates the power to bring it into existence. And yeah, we talk about speaking it into existence because a lot of times people open their mouth and I say to you, if you walked around with a recorder for a week and it recorded every single thing you said, and then at the end of the week, we sit down in a place of like zero judgment, we press play, what is revealed? Yeah. And a lot of times people are talking about what they don't want.
Yep.
Talking about their doubts, their fears, judging, criticizing themselves, others. Well, one of the core teachings that I have is that we create as we speak, that our word has that much power. And that when we speak, we are quite literally speaking into existence, and that every cell in our body is aligning with what we declare. And a lot of times what happens is people say one thing and they're speaking in the direction they want to go. And then just 2 minutes later, they contradict themselves and they're taking 2 steps back. So it's like having this heightened state of awareness is one of the keys to, we talk about manifestation, to manifest to your vision.
I think there's a really cool thing. You've heard of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, right?
I've heard about it. My company's an institute of it.
I know. I that's the
we do
reason why I'm saying
of NLP all over the world.
There's a reason why I'm putting it out there. Like, think about this. NLP, like it's a real and legitimate thing. It actually is there is legitimate psychological, physiological responses to the things that we say, the stories that we tell, and the feelings we give ourselves permission to maintain feeling. So, excuse me, guys, I apologize. You guys are going to listen to this. You're going to hear some coughing in the background. I've been battling. You guys, if you know the podcast and you listen to it for the last couple of weeks, I've been battling a crazy upper respiratory thing. You might hear yelling out back. There's some crazy dudes out back drinking a shit ton of bourbon, sitting around a campfire right now, waiting for steaks to get cooked. Like, so if there's some dirty audio in here, guys, forgive me a little bit. But with that being said, I got a really good friend. I don't know if you ever heard her name, Amelia Antonetti. So Amelia Antonetti is a really close friend of mine. She did some work. She actually helped create Steve Harvey's brand. And she's done a phenomenal work. And we've talked about this a lot, but she's a behaviorist. And she said something once. She said, and I had to look it up. I was like, fuck, I got to go look this up. I don't know if you're full of shit or not, but I feel like maybe you're full of shit. And she said, feelings last 90 seconds unless you feed them. And then I was like, all right, I need to look this up. So psychologically speaking, if we look at a physiological or a neurological response to a thought or feeling, an emotion, unless we give that emotion fuel, it only lasts 90 seconds. So if you think about the concept of a physiological, a neurological, and a psychological response across all three fucking modes of how our brain functions and works, every time we speak a thing, it drives a physical reaction, literally a physical.
It's a neural pathway. It's like
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so like, this was hard for me. This is a hard one for me.
Why is it hard?
Because I didn't understand this concept. I stood in the middle of a road and I did a video for a program that I used to be a mentor for. And before I became a mentor, I did this video. And that video said, I don't want to budget for orange juice anymore. And what I said was, I don't want to budget for orange juice anymore.
Can I jump in on that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because the brain cannot negate. We live in an attraction-based universe. So when somebody's like, I don't want something, you cannot think about what you don't want without thinking about it first. So rather than resisting or talking about what you don't want, it's like flip the script and go, okay, what do I do want instead? And how can I place my attention on where I'm inspired to go rather than pushing away from what I don't want? Because what happens is when somebody is pushing away from something unwanted, I mean, really think about this, and I'll use my body to show. If you're pushing away from something unwanted, what are you giving your power to? Mm-hmm. You're giving your power to that thing that is unwanted. And that's actually what you're talking about is one of the root causes of roller coaster results. Is that people are focused on, I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to work for someone else. I don't want to be alone. And what happens is that they push away from it. So they move far enough away from it until they don't feel the pain anymore.
Exactly.
And then when they don't feel the pain anymore, they lose their motivation. This is a huge point that you just brought up, because it wasn't about moving toward a vision.
No,
it was about moving away from the pain.
Yep.
And that distinction is huge. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. We've all had those experiences that are so painful that they catapult us into a new way of being.
Exactly.
But the key thing is that once you have that catapult, have the awareness to go, okay, now I'm going to shift my focus. What do I really want? What am I inspired to create? What is it that I would like, or am I committed to experience in my life?
So that piece, that was the crucial piece that was missing. And that's the most important piece of all of this. One of my favorite questions to ask business clients or personal development clients, whomever I'm with, tactical clients, doesn't matter who I'm dealing with. The coolest thing about what I do is that when I teach people how to shoot and fight, really it's my foot in the door to have a deeper conversation about real shit, which is what I love to talk about anyway. But one of my favorite questions to ask is this: what do you want?
I think that's a phenomenal question, because a lot of times people don't even know what they want.
They have no idea. The number one answer every time is, I want to be happy. Cool. What does that look like? Well,
and happy is a state. A lot of times, let me jump in on that, because a lot of times you ask people what they want and they don't tell you a particular measurable goal. They'll tell you a state. Exactly. And the thing about states is like, I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled. These are things that we could experience right now. Mm-hmm. That's not something that needs to happen in the future. Mm-hmm. That's something that could be experienced right now. I want $10 million in the next 12 months or less. That may take time if that person doesn't have that right now. Well, that's very different than I want to be happy. So it's the difference between states and goals. There's a distinction there, And a lot of times I ask that question in my courses and people give me states as if it was a goal.
Right.
Happiness is a state, not a goal.
You and I have talked about goals and targets, right? Do you remember this conversation?
You got to refresh my memory.
So I did.
And is that an alligator behind you? I'm like,
no, it's, I can't remember what.
Okay. I was like, I hope we're not killing alligators. Okay. Just
no, we're eradicating pigs. Pigs are a horrible pest.
Goodness.
They're a horrible pest.
Okay.
So the problem is
I'm going to have a deeper level of understanding on this because I'm the one that's like,
I know you're peace, love, animal lover. I
am an animal lover.
I love animals too. The problem,
zero judgment.
The problem down here is that you've got a huge wild hog problem, and the wild pigs down in Texas, they destroy property. They destroy like not livestock but feed. They destroy fields. You have a pack of pigs, they can destroy an entire 100 acres of freshly planted corn. They can do it in 2 days. So they could come out and destroy entire 100 acres in 2 days of freshly planted corn. And they literally will just go down the row, boom, 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 and they will snout up every fresh seed, every fresh
and they go through fences. Do they go through fences? They go through
fucking everything. They go through everything.
Oh my goodness.
So we do what we can to try and help out and eradicate the wild pig problem. This is an actual legitimate problem. They are a pest, and it's open season all year long down here because it's that bad. But that brings me to the topic of targets versus goals.
Yes.
So you say goals. I don't say goals. And the reason why is, so this is what we talked about. Why in soccer do the soccer players and the fans of the soccer players lose their shit when someone scores a goal? Why? Because it happens so rarely. So you have this 90 or 120 minute daggone soccer game that's going on, and finally somebody scores a goal, and it scores like 2-1 or 1-0, and they lose their shit. However, it happens so rarely. That's the reason why I don't like to use it. What I like to use is target, and the reason why I like to use target is because if you're going for a goal, then you're fighting against an opposing team, and the opposing team is actively trying to stop you from achieving your goal. And the problem is that if we have that reference, then really what we're referencing is what we're saying is that the world, life, the universe is against me from getting the shit that I want, achieving the things I want to achieve. And that's bullshit, because the universe wants you to succeed. The universe wants you to actually move forward and fucking achieve something that you set forward. But when I use the term target, the cool thing is I have direct control over how I shoot. So if I reference, I don't know, a firearm or gun, and I want to shoot a target and I miss the target, what do I get to do? I get to re-aim, I get to reassess, and I get to re-engage. So if I'm trying to score a goal, I immediately think soccer's fucking a bunch of prissy bitches running around, falling on the ground when they get touched on their shoulder. Or I can reference something that's like not only controllable, but me manifesting my own destiny, which is I have the ability to hit the target I shoot for. And if I don't hit the target, I have the ability to continue to shoot until I do hit the target. And I think the transition is different.
I love distinctions. One of my favorite things in life is I think we all could use more distinctions because they're the difference that makes a difference. And I so appreciate your enthusiasm. I got to let you know, it is like refreshing and awesome and unique and really cool. So I personally have, I have a great relationship with the idea of a goal, but I love the idea of a target. Actually, I just ordered an Olympic archery gear. Okay. So I've got an Olympic bow and Olympic arrows and all of this that have literally just arrived. I haven't had a chance to go pick them up yet. I'm going to pick them up this week. And one of the things that is the key, and also I took on this practice as a meditative practice that is a metaphor in alignment with everything that my life is about. It's like not only hitting the target, but penetrating the target.
Well, I have so many jokes right now on penetrating the target. I don't disagree with you at all. Penetrating the target is an imperative.
Which is, and then the thing is also, which is one of the powerful distinctions, is a lot of times people look at that target as something outside of themselves.
Yes.
And the reality is, it's like when you're in archery and you're, drawing back that bow, it's like I can feel the space where my heart, my soul, my being, my presence, my purpose, who I am, my identity is one with the target.
Yep.
So I'm not seeing that target as something outside of me that I don't have. I am seeing that in a unified field, there is a space in consciousness that I am one with that. And I am devoted, I am committed, I am present to not only hit the target, to penetrate through it, to literally pierce it. And that target is that that representation of what is your ultimate. I can see you coming up with your thoughts around that. Okay. So what is that for each one of us? I mean, what is the target of your highest intention? What is the target of your ultimate vision? What is the target of you living your best life, whatever that means to you, not by other people's standards? I think that's a big deal too. It's like a lot of times we look at what success is based on other people's standards. It's like, what is it that juices you up? What is it that makes you unique? And how can you create your own art, your own expression at the highest level of excellence and bring that into manifestation? We talk about manifestation, bring that into existence. That's one of the things that fires me up, and really understanding, letting everyone know that they have a unique expression. There's no one on earth like you. No one on this planet is like you. No one has your unique way of bringing your essence into the world. So really understanding who you are, understanding your unique gift, recognizing the blocks that you have, owning those blocks, as not owning them that they're mine, but owning that they're present and here. And how can I learn from them? What awareness has been blocked that by me integrating this learning allows that old pattern to dissolve?
And you know what? Can I add to that? Because I think what you said is really important. Knowing who you are. I just want to
Oh my goodness, that is the foundation.
The concept of personal identity, it doesn't have to be an existential crisis. This is the greatest gift I learned in my own personal transformation and personal development. And we talked about this a little bit before, but there's so many people that battle with this concept of who am
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it like this. Who am I? What's my purpose? Why am I supposed to be?
Okay.
I just don't know. It fucking drives me bonkers, and it drives me bonkers because it's not hard. Here's the answer. I'm going to give you the answer. Not you, Niurka, but anybody that's listening. It's as simple as this. What is the content of your character? Have you considered and sat down and potentially written this out? What ethics, morals, and values do you choose to live by? What are your personal core values? If you identify your personal core values, and it could be a list of 1 million personal core values, but just think about this for a second. If you take all those things and you understand what gets you fired up and what pisses you off, you understand the things that you truly love to do, you understand the reason why you love to do them, you understand that you have deficiencies, that you're a liability and an asset, you understand all these things, we can wrap them up into a little beautiful bowl, and this is what we can say: I'm Adam.
I love that.
That's what it is.
And let me tell you what that is too, is it's not something that you find, it's something you define.
Exactly.
So you're not like looking for this purpose to fall out of the sky and smack you upside the head.
No.
You're recognizing what you value. Okay. What is most important to you in life? I value connection. I value integrity. I value being my word. I value being a trustworthy person. Exactly. I value the responsibility. I value being a parent. I value being an amazing role model and a leader for my children, for my team, for my community. These are the things. So that starts, as you said, it's expressions of your character. And this is also an evolutionary journey. You're continually growing. It's not like this place that you find and you're like, woo, I'm there, I put the stake in the ground. It is your capacity and your capability is growing, it's expanding. Exactly. So your identity too. So when you say existential crisis, what I think of people that are looking to find something that is seemingly missing, as opposed to recognizing, these qualities and defining and declaring and owning that.
Exactly. Owning that. Exactly. Because this is the piece, like, people that get into an existential crisis are waiting for something or someone to drop a little magical piece of paper in their lap that gives them self-definition. It's the same thing where it's like, oh, well, what's my purpose? This is a beautiful thing, because you and I talked about this again. For those of you guys that don't realize this, Niurka and I have a lot of conversations. We had a shit ton of conversations when I was in Colorado, and then she disappeared because she was traveling all over the world doing crazy shit with awesome people, and we didn't have a whole lot of comms. And then she got back, we had more comms. It's phenomenal. I really I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. I appreciate
you so much.
Like, you have such awesome insight. You have powerful wisdom. The way you deliver your message is unique, and also it connects with people. I think it's really spectacular, and you're really good at what you do. Now that I'm done boosting your ego, the piece that got me the most was going from this identity piece, who am I, to this purpose piece. when I was a Green Beret, and I've told the story multiple times, when I was a Green Beret, my purpose was to be a better Green Beret. That's the whole purpose of my life. Like this is my identity is Green Beret. My purpose is to be a better Green Beret. When I became a civilian, I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Like, what's
that's such a great distinction.
Right. And so there's this huge transition because the entirety of your life when you're in the military is defined by your job and what you do. And your purpose is to do it better and to be of service. And then when you step into the civilian, and your mission is whatever higher command authority gives you. When you step into the civilian market, you lose your tribe. You don't really connect. I don't fit into the civilian market for the most part because I don't have any fucks to give. I'm very direct. I don't really give a shit about feelings, though I feel, and I'm not an animal. It's interesting, but the purpose piece is what I want to talk about, because this comes back to the conversation of what manifestation looks like. You can't manifest fuck all.
You can't manifest what?
Fuck all. This is a Canadian term. Fuck all. You can't manifest fuck all.
Okay.
If you haven't taken the time to understand why you do what you do. And that is a purpose-driven concept. If you do what you do and you're doing something against your integrity or character, then you're going to feel it energetically. But if you're taking actions that are in alignment with your integrity and character, then you feel it energetically in a different way. And for me, what I realized was that this concept of purpose, what is my purpose? What's my purpose? Again, existential crisis of self. I'm waiting for someone to define it for me. I get to define it for myself. It's the greatest gift I ever fucking got. The greatest gift was that I don't have somebody above me saying, hey, this is your purpose. This is what you do. Fuck you. I know what my fucking purpose is. I get to define it. Just like I get to define my identity. I get to define my purpose, and I get to define my mission. And my purpose is 2 words, and it's so very simple. Create impact. It doesn't have to be any more or any less. I just recognize that I want to create impact. And that means that every single interaction with every single person that I have is a part of my purpose. This podcast, a part of my purpose. Me being here in Texas doing this Heli Hunter thing, it's a part of my purpose. But here's the kicker. It's not my purpose to create impact. My mission is how I deliver it into the world. So me being here, this is a mission I choose. This podcast with you, this right now, you're my mission.
Beautiful.
And it's a phenomenal gift, but it's the manifestation piece that's a crucial piece here.
And the thing is too, is that this is bigger than any particular, that what you do and the accomplishments that we have. I mean, these are things that are definitely expressions of our being, but it doesn't define so much who we are, because if someone can leave a particular role.
Hold on. Pause 1 second. So my camera does some
out of the darkness comes the light, right? out of the no thing comes everything.
I'm not edit this out either. I'm not fucking editing this out. I'm not. This is happening. It's happening real time. I'm not editing this.
So you know what? As Savage is back there fixing technology, it's such an awesome metaphor for life, that sometimes life throws you curveballs. Sometimes you get a glitch in the system. Sometimes the technology doesn't work. And it's not about that. It's not about what life throws our way. Like truly being a master of your own experience, which is something I would venture to say that we're all, this is rising to a greater level of being, is that whatever life shows up, you just roll with it, that you could even utilize it, that you could even wield it, okay, to wield whatever shows up. So
I just did a podcast on this, which I really enjoy. I just did a podcast on this concept of leadership and followership. And one of the pieces was, and one of the things I said was like, hey, followers, if you're not in senior leadership position, when the plan changes, shut the fuck up about complaining that the plan changed and figure out how you can be of value in order to create success around the new goddamn plan. Like
flexibility.
Oh my God.
That's one of the key things is like, I remember when I used to work side by side with Tony Robbins in my early 20s, and he used to say flexibility is power, that the most flexible person in any interaction becomes the influencing factor.
Exactly.
So your ability to be fluid and flexible, no matter what life throws your way, because we go back to this, because you're clear on the target. You're clear on the vision. You're clear on the purpose. So no matter what shows up, you're going to be fluid and flexible, and you can change your approach and continue to change your approach until you pierce the target.
See, I got you bought into the target concept now, don't I?
Hey, you know what? When you come out to Colorado, we're going to go shoot some arrows.
I'm down. So I told you that I've been practicing my archery?
Well, I bring archery. No, you haven't told me that. I want to hear all about that. And we do archery in my women's empowerment course, Goddess Garden. We do a whole section on the warrior the warrior within, and archery is one of our power practices.
It's, I tell you what, the power poses are real, but archery. So I have a target that I want to achieve. It's actually kind of a lifetime goal of mine. I want to take a traditional hunting bow, and I want to do an on-foot stalk in the middle of the mountains of Montana and go hunt an elk, like full on old school, no guide, none of that shit, and bag this giant elk in the middle of nowhere, field dress it, and then build a sled so I can haul it all back to civilization. Like have this, it's a really big, this is like,
well, if you go kill an elk, you got to make sure that you do it in the most humane manner ever.
well, I mean,
You got to make sure that it happens quick,
obviously,
and that you utilize every piece, and that you do it in ceremony. I'm not kidding.
But there's
That's important.
there's always ceremony behind it, especially
Ceremony.
Like that. That's a very spiritual experience.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And
that's
so
what
there's the honor, there's the ceremony, there's the the humane approach, and then there's the utilization of all these pieces.
So
Honor.
tell me about this event. I want to know about this event. I want to know what it's going to look like. I know what people can expect. Like fill me in.
Well, we got all kinds of events happening. We have a full calendar of amazing experiences to empower people to let go of whatever doesn't serve them and step into their purpose with power. One that we've got coming up, which is happening like right now, March 9th through the 11th. So I want to give all of your community an opportunity to come because it's a free event. It's a 3-day challenge to manifest your vision. So the way we started this conversation is totally in sync. So the first thing is clearing what is the ultimate vision for your life? And I prefer that question because a lot of times people ask, what's my vision? Well, who's the you that is asking? Is that your an expression of you that is not the ultimate? So the question that I would have everyone to ask is, what is the ultimate vision for my life? What is the ultimate vision for my business? What is the ultimate vision for my family? What is the ultimate vision for my contribution? And this 3-day event is going to clarify that for you and bring that into a place of complete clarity, and not attached to have it show up a particular way, because you lose your power when you think it's got to show up this way. You get tunnel vision. So it's going to guide you to become clear on this vision, and it's going to, in all the areas of your life that are most important to you. What is your vision in terms of your health and vitality, your fitness? What is your vision in terms of your connection, your love, meaningful relationships? What is the vision for your wealth? Your financial power. What is the vision for you as a leader in your community, as a leader in your business? What is that? And then how can you understand the most important key strategies and daily practices to bring this vision into actualization, to bring it into manifestation, whatever word resonates with you? Achieve, accomplish, manifest, make it happen, whatever it is. And to do it in a place that I'm a big believer in accessing. Because sometimes I understand that there's a grind, and at the same time, when you're on purpose, there's a joy that is within this creative process. And there is a fulfillment. I've been in business 20 some odd years, and my life is a life that is in alignment with bringing joy into this creative process. So how do you bring power? How do you bring creativity? How do you bring joint venture partnerships and relationships that are in sync with you? And how do you make big things happen? Okay. That's one of the things that's going to happen in this event. March 9th through the 11th. You could go to my website, niurkainc.com/savage. Okay.
Whoa, hold on. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's niurkainc.com/savage. And I'm going to be, it's going to be a hands-on coaching and training experience. We're going to be together for 1 hour of power every single day for 3 days. You want to commit to all 3 days because it builds. Every day builds on the previous day. And we have an epic VIP experience where after the event, you could go into a VIP room. And that VIP room is going to be exclusive. It's going to be a private room. It's going to be hands-on. And we're going to guide you to think big. You know what I mean? Transcend the doubt, transcend those insecurities or smaller ways of thinking and being, and tap into the height that you're destined for in a community that sees who you really are. So it's going to be a power-packed 3-day jam-packed experience.
Sees who you really are if you're willing to be really who you are. So that's a beautiful thing about you, Niurka, and it's something that I've found that you and I are we have commonality in, and that is you have a unique skill to see through the bullshit. And one of the things that I've been told multiple times, like, Adam, I don't know how you do it, but for whatever reason, you have this ability to just cut straight through the bullshit, and you see people showing up exactly as they're showing up. So understand, like, I want everyone to understand that if you're showing up as a liar, it will be seen, it will be noticed, because we all lie, all of us. I lie, Niurka, we all fucking lie. Everybody fucking lies. The fact of the matter is that oftentimes it's not necessarily an external lie, it's an internal lie.
And let me jump in on that too. Can I jump in on that? So that's going to be revealed, and there's not going to be a judgment on it. It's not like, oh my goodness, all of you is going to be welcome. Let's get real. Let's put it on the table, and let's have this process of alchemy, basically.
Let's go.
Distilling what doesn't serve you, because those lies, even though they're showing up, if they've been showing up for someone, is that really who you truly are at the core? Or is that just some practice that you've been doing because at some level in the past you gave it the meaning that it was going to protect you, it was going to keep you safe, it was, so there's what we call secondary gain. Yeah. There's a secondary gain of holding on to patterns that are not serving you, because subconsciously the subconscious mind is linking some form of benefit, and the benefit is, hey, this is keeping me safe, so I'm just going to be over here. Well, guess what? Go ahead.
Oh, I love it. It's just
secondary gain is so huge. So one of the core foundations in all of my transformational courses and experiences and certification programs and NLP certification, my company is an institute of NLP. It's also an institute of hypnosis. So we do certification, and we've certified some of the top coaches in the world in these technologies. And I teach what I call evolved NLP. Okay. And so we've taken all of this body of work and evolved it to the next level. Is the foundation of it is transcending secondary gain. Because a lot of times somebody wants to move forward, but so consciously they want to move forward. Consciously, it's like, yes, I want to achieve this grand vision, but subconsciously. And actually, you know what? I was doing a training just a couple days ago on the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So I just happen to have this here. And you look at this like an iceberg, and the subconscious mind is like this huge mass where consciously sometimes people go, well, I want wealth and I want love and I want success and I want all these things. But subconsciously, there's something that's pulling them back.
My favorite thing about this, and I talk about this, is the armor. Excuse me. The fact of the matter is that when I say that you're a liar, if I'm saying that you're a liar, what I'm actually saying is that you are a liar because you say that you want a thing, and you're not lying that you want a thing, but your actions don't align with your words. And when your actions don't align with your words, you are lying, not to me, to yourself. When you say you want a thing, but your actions don't align with the thing that you want, and they don't align with getting or achieving the thing that you want, then you don't truly want it. And you can't prove that you fucking truly want it until you start taking the fucking actions that prove that you truly want it. And so if you say, no, I really want that, Adam, I really want it, just fucking prove it, bro. Prove it. Take the time and show me that you actually want this. And the number one thing, now I've been a personal trainer in fitness, personal fitness trainer. I've owned multiple CrossFit gyms. I've helped open multiple CrossFit gyms. I used to be a competitor in like Olympic lifting and powerlifting. Like, I've done all the crazy shit. I played semi-pro football for a little while. Like, I've done some crazy shit, right? I was a Green Beret for a long ass time. Put all that shit together. I've done some crazy shit. The fact of the matter is that people's health, and this is my favorite thing, if you are overweight, this is not a statement of judgment. It's a statement of understanding. If you are overweight, your overweightness is body armor. That's how you find something that gives you significance, joy, happiness, or feeds that dopamine dump inside of your brain, because the fucking words that you keep saying do not support the boost of energy that you need in your life or you want in your life to achieve the target that you want to achieve. And that body armor protects you. That is a secondary gain.
That's the piece. That's the
secondary gain.
So often what happens is that it creates a sense of protection. It creates this sense of safety. So here's the distinction, is the moment that you truly integrate, the moment that you discover and truly integrate the highest purpose of that secondary gain. Okay, what it's ultimately trying to give you. Yes, it's trying to give you protection, and then protection gives you what? It gives you safety, and then safety gives you what? It gives you, as you find the highest positive intention, then you can find new, better ways to meet the ultimate highest positive intention. And the subconscious mind is going to hold on like crazy until there's a better way to meet that intention, where not just consciously, but subconsciously, I am safe. Okay. I am protected. And here's these other ways. That creates a portal for a breakthrough.
And you know where it starts?
And you and I have different approaches on how we navigate this conversation.
Yes,
we have
do.
different approaches, and at the same time, it leads to the same place.
We really do have different approaches.
We have different approaches.
You're direct, but you're soft and gentle in how you deliver your approach. You have more feminine energy in how you deliver it, without any question about it. And I am the exact opposite. I am direct. I don't give a fuck about being soft. I am going to put you in your chair. I'm going to put little walls on your left and right. I'm going to watch you squirm, because here's the fact. Just like you, and you make people squirm too, but you do it a different way. I've seen you do it. I love it. But here's the thing. The
different people respond to different things, though.
Yeah,
Adam.
they
like
do.
For example, I don't respond to somebody just being so, in my face about things. It's not what responds to me, but it works for you with a large group of people. So ultimately, I would say flexibility is power. So really understanding who we're talking to. Some people are going to need that, a bit of a shake, right?
Of a JV. That's the best part of working with someone like you, Niurka. It's a reason why. So some very close friends of mine, they have a women's empowerment organization that they just started. It's brand new, and they asked me to come help them. And I said, I will come help you. I have no problem with it at all. And they know me. We've worked together a lot. Like, guys, if you're listening to this, and I don't give a shit, you make fun of me, I have no fucks to give. I am just as much of a teddy bear on one side of myself as I am as this big gruff knuckle dragon moron on the other side of myself. Like, I have no problem being both sides of this, but I will say I have a knack for the one. Like, it's my talent. It is really my skill. But that's
and what is the one? What is the one? Define the one.
The one is the direct asshole that will put you in your chair and make you super uncomfortable, not by being a dickhead, but by being super direct and speaking to you in a way that no one has ever spoken to you before in your entire life, which is.
And let me say one thing that I know about you is that in the core of that, when you are communicating in that way, your care and your love, it's a fierce love, but you care so deep that that's what allows that to work. Because if somebody was being that asshole and they didn't care, that would just, create a disconnect.
I hate, look, I was at a point in my life, like you, we both experienced similar things. I was at a point in my life when I didn't want to live anymore. I don't want anybody to ever feel that way. I don't want anybody to ever have to go through that. And I want every single person I interact with, I want them to be successful. I want them to have what they want in their life. I don't understand why there's so much pushback on people being successful. I don't understand why there's so much pushback. Like, there's a limited market space. There's a limited economy. There's only so much money. Go fuck yourself, dude. Every single person you run into could be uber successful. There's not just.
And that's not true. It's not limited, because technology causes expansion. And look at what's going on right now, even with AI. That's another conversation.
Oh my God.
But it's like.
Yeah.
There is no scarcity. Years ago, I met Tony and I, and it took a group of us, and we went skiing in Park City. And we met a gentleman named Paul Zane Pilzer, who's one of the world's leading economists. And he was like economic advisor to 2 presidents. And Paul and I became friends. And he wrote a book called Unlimited Wealth. Mm-hmm. And in this book, Unlimited Wealth, he talked about, because I remember going to school and studying economics. And in the economics class, they would say that there's a limited amount of resources. And I remember being like, that is just not resonating with me. And then when I met Paul, he was like, there is no, and I must have been 19 or 20 years old when I had this conversation, that what determines, a resource and the expansion of a resource is technology. And we're seeing that exponentially right now. So there is no scarcity. There's more than enough abundance to go around. Yeah. Right now, we are on a frontier of a whole new world of possibility. Technology is expanding exponentially. The opportunity is exponential. And what's required is to innovate by knowing who you are and your unique expression in this conversation.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Was I boring you? You were looking at your phone.
No, I'm taking notes. What you guys don't realize is I'm taking fucking notes. First of all, when I have conversations with people or I go to events, I listen to other speakers and I sit in the back and I take notes.
I do too. I love that.
And I take notes of what they're saying, and I take notes of exactly what they're saying and like the concept. And so literally I'm taking a note, and you were like, and my note was abundance for everyone, scarcity for none. That literally was I love this. That's a quote Niurka, right? That's the thing. And I think that at the end of all of this, that if people would take the time to stop being afraid of investing in themselves and stop being afraid of making a decision to act because they're more afraid to fail than they are afraid to do. If they would just shift their perspective, just 1 degree,
and show up.
Look, I hate, I don't like the phrase, the first step of the journey is showing up. No, fuck you. The first step of the journey is not showing up. Not fuck you, Niurka, in general, you, the big you. It's not just showing up. The first step of the journey is defining what it is that you want. The second step of the journey is taking the step forward. The third step of the journey is doing the things you say you're going to do. Every single morning you wake up, you've already shown up.
Can I jump in there on one thing? So defining what you want and making sure that's congruently aligned for you.
Yes.
I see a lot of people that are looking at what other people are doing, and then they're defining what they want based on somebody else's purpose and plan. So it's like, there's value in modeling, there's value in mentors, but allow that to be a guide, but then check in with yourself and go, is this authentic for me? Is this who I am? So the vision, then a check-in, is this an alignment? And then what was the next step that you said?
So like define what you want, take the first step in action and do what you said you would do. That's the third, do what you said you would do. But the thing is that every morning you wake up, you've already shown up. That's the piece that people forget. Congratulations. You woke up this morning. That means that you have a gift of life for the day. That means you have an opportunity right now to do something different. And another very good friend of mine, she once said, Adam, I want something different, so I'm going to do something different. And I was like, brilliant. Like fucking brilliant. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
I love that. And sometimes it is that simple.
It is.
And I'll define what I mean by showing up, like how I experience it, is that life has defining moments. And there's like these defining moments where you can either take a step back or you can move through something and take that action. So it's like, okay, let's say that you know that by you picking up the phone and making a phone call that you might have been afraid to make. But that phone call can be a portal to a whole new realm of possibility. I say to my students, you are one phone call away from a massive breakthrough, in 2016, I made one phone call that quantum leaped my business. It skyrocketed my business. And at first I had some doubt about making that phone call because I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to this person in decades. Oh my gosh, this person is, and I had some thoughts around it. Well, that was a defining moment. Do I show up for that call or do I not show up for that call? So to me, it's not showing up when you wake up in the morning, but I get what you're saying because that's a low standard of showing up. Tony Robbins said to me when I was 19 years old, he said to me, raise your standards. Yeah. When I asked him, I said, I just did a post on this. I said, if I could do one thing that would totally transform my life, what's the one thing? And I remember he said to me, do you really want to know? It was just him and I having lunch and he was hovering over this table and he says, do you really want to know or are you just asking? I said, I really want to know. And he said, raise your standards. And I got a little bit offended because I was like, hey, I'm 19 years old and I'm the top producer. What do you mean raise my standards? And he pointed in my face and said, don't ever compare yourself to anyone because it will always lower your standard. So I'm with you on that because I think that a lot of people use that same reference that you just said. So it's very common, like, oh, just show up to the gym. At least you're there type of a thing,
Exactly.
It's that difference. It's that difference. Like you're on that bench press, right? It's those last few reps that are the difference that makes the difference. To me, that's what's showing up. It's the difference between that, are you going to let it go at the 8th rep because, oh, I just showed up? Or are you going to go, no, I'm going to push through this and push through the pain, push through the discomfort, and I'm going to make that call. I'm going to do that extra rep. At the end of the day, when I'm just tired and burnt and I just want to stop, that moment is a defining moment.
That's showing up. See, that's the piece. That's showing up. Showing up. That is exactly what I'm fucking talking about. This concept of just show up. No. Excuse me. God almighty, this chest. You got me so look, I'm fired up right now.
Savages in the house, everybody.
That's showing up. The reality of showing up is exactly what you just said. Look, that showing up is not walking through the door. Showing up is not just coming to the gym or showing up to the gym. Showing up is not just wake up in the morning. Showing up is when you've got all your chips in Showing up is when you are in the process of doing the thing that you said that you would do, and you can take the easy route because you've done 6 reps, or you can take the showing up route, which is going to be the 8 or 12 reps. Showing up is when you have put in 12 hours in a day. You've been up since 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. and you've already pushed it. And you're already at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening, and you're fucking smoked. And you recognize that in this moment, I have 2 options to make. I can take the easy path. I can sit my ass down on the couch, throw my feet up on the coffee table and crack open that beer, or I can deny myself the beer and recognize that I want to be better because I want to do something different. I want to be something different. And when I show up in that way, when I show up for the shit that I want as the person that I want to be, that is showing up. That's 100% it. I'm so glad you defined that because it's so important. It is so important. If you're listening to this right now and you're not taking notes and you don't understand what the fuck that was just said to you, if I could throat punch you, I would. Let's just be really clear.
I'm going to love you up while he does the other thing.
Let's be really clear. Really clear is this. What Niurka just said and what I just said is the exact same thing. If you have to show up as the person you want to be in order to have the life you choose to have. And if you don't show up in that way, then you will never be the person you say you want to be, and you will never have the life you say you want to have because you're choosing something different. But if you want something different, do something different. Show the fuck up. I love it. Oh my God, I'm so fired up right now.
And I'll say this too, is that life, you're going to notice life has seasons. So like when I think of myself showing up in my early 20s and showing up in my 30s, like I'm in a place right now where so many of the seeds that I've planted over decades are still birthing into these awesome opportunities. But if you really look at these early stages, I was like relentless in my devotion and commitment to wake up early and show up and always take that extra action. At the end of the day, when I was tired, I was like, no, I'm going to rise to the occasion. And, you know, when I had rejections and failures, I learned more from my failures than I've learned from successes often.
Every time.
You know, picking myself up from the bootstraps and going, no, we're going to do this. And even in the early stages, you know, like wiping off the tears and going and shaking it off and going, no, we're going to do this again. And that builds a muscle. And I will say this is that really to whoever's listening, just recognize truly what stage in life that you're in and, you know, really put all of your energy and your power into building and developing who you are and who you're committed to be, and who this will pave the way for who you're destined to become. And you will look back decades later and you will have fruits of seeds that you've planted coming through to fruition in ways that are more miraculous than you could ever imagine. I mean, you and I met from a dear friend of mine, Damien, who introduced us. And the way I met Damien was through Michael Beckwith, who runs the Agape International Spiritual Center. I mean, Michael calls me up one day and goes, hey, do you want to be a part of this movie called Discover the Gift? And then Damien and I became amazing friends. And I went on tour with them through Europe. And then I ran into a challenge, okay, that all of a sudden I needed some support with, and I needed somebody who had a certain level of power for this particular situation that I was navigating. And then you came into my life. So look at how these dots have connected over a lifetime of experience.
Well, this is, you know, this is a piece that I learned. I was at the airport. I went to an event in California, and it was a conference. It was WarriorCon. I don't know if you know Wake Up Warrior.
Yeah, I do, because a lot of my community members, students, and dear friends have been a part of the Wake Up Warrior world.
That's how I know Damien, right? So Damien and I are good buddies from Wake Up Warrior. So I go to WarriorCon 3, and a buddy of mine told me, he said, Adam, I don't know why you're not doing other things. And I said, well, I don't know what you mean exactly. He said, well, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? We got in a really good conversation about it. I was at the airport, and I decided that I was just going to go for it. So I started this thing called the Daily Dick Punch. And I started a Facebook page called the Daily Dick Punch. And the picture of the Daily Dick Punch was 2 bears standing up from side to side. And one of the bears is bent over, punching the other bear in the dick. It's a phenomenal picture. And I actually deleted the Facebook page because I stepped into some other places like, man, maybe the Daily Dick Punch, but it was really bad because the content was epic. But it was me learning my content. But this is a piece. I did a recording at the back end of this event, WarriorCon 3, at the airport in California. And when I got done, it almost moves me to tears when I tell a story. When I got done, there was this girl, I don't know, probably 24, 25, standing in line as I was getting a coffee at the back end of me recording this message. And she walks up and she said, I heard what you said. I think I needed to hear that today. And I really appreciate you doing that. And in my mind, I'm like, I didn't fucking do that for you. Like, I recorded that for Facebook. Like, that wasn't, and this is the piece that I didn't realize. And I recognize it now. The impact that you are making in your life every single day is happening regardless of whether you recognize it or not.
Totally.
And how you show up, every single interaction, you're creating impact. How you interact is creating impact. That impact, that is the seed that's getting planted. And that's the seed that gets planted 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that creates this full circle interaction where you and I end up meeting and having a powerful conversation, a powerful interaction, and an opportunity to not just help one another out, but get to know one another. And that's impact. That is what it is. Like, what people don't realize, impact is planting the seed of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's planting the seed of new perspective. It's planting the seed of new opportunity. Because if we change perspective, we see new possibility, which opens the door to opportunity. And if we can go that route, then we have the ability to literally change my life is so different now than what it was 6 years ago. My life is so different now than what it was a year ago. And my life is going to be exponentially different in another year. But that's only because there's a point when you become willing to just plant the fucking seed and recognize that at some point this thing is going to grow. And when it does, and that branch is pulled back and it smacks me in the back of the head, it's going to remind me of the seed that I planted however long ago that I didn't recognize I was planting because I didn't even realize I was doing it.
That's so huge. That is so huge. And you never know. I mean, you could be at a coffee shop and all of a sudden you just say to the person behind you or in front of you something that completely transforms their entire experience of reality just through who you were being and what you said. And as a result of that moment, they go home and they're kinder with their wife, or they're kinder with their kid, or they're more present with their child. And that becomes this profound ripple effect. Mm-hmm. So recognizing the value of who you are and what you bring every day into the world. And that every moment, I love how you said that. It's so brilliant to really allow that to integrate, is every moment is creating impact. Okay. And sometimes you don't see it. Sometimes you don't see it till years later. I can't tell you how many times I've put my heart and soul into something that didn't manifest the way that I intended in the moment. Okay. But then that created, again, a seed that flowered later that led to something more extraordinary than I could have ever even conjured up in my own mind or imagined. Like, how would I have imagined that you and I would have met through this fascinating turn of events where I was calling a friend, asking for support, asking for help, asking for assistance. I'm going, hey, you know what? I am in a situation where I need help. And that's a big thing too. So for like everyone listening is knowing when you're in a place where you need support and you need help, and not trying to figure everything out on your own, and being willing to pick up that phone and being willing to be vulnerable and being willing to ask for support and being open to receiving. That's the other thing too, Adam, is a lot of times people want something, you know, they're calling in their vision, they're calling in what they want, but then they're not open to receive. They're blocking, they're calling in love, but they're not open to receive. They're calling in these amazing, you know, partnerships, but they're not open to receive because they have fear, they have insecurity, or they think that they're not enough in some way, shape, or form. So one is, out of everything we've talked about in manifesting your vision, and we're going to be giving you deep, you know, wisdom, stories, strategies, all of this. Yes, clarify your vision. Yes, take the actions. And then what I would finalize that amazing piece that you've like brilliantly laid out there, which is ultimately a strategy, is being open to receive. This is the balance of the masculine feminine principle, right? So yes. The masculine's like going to go get, let me go make this happen right here, right now. And then being open. It's like the womb of all creation. You know, when you plant that seed of your highest intent and you are so clear on your vision and you cast that in to the field of all possibilities, you cast it into the field of infinite possibilities, and you're taking the actions to come into that place of open receptivity. Allow it to come to you in ways even more magnificent than you can imagine.
That's the piece that gets missed, is the reception piece.
Oh,
that's the hardest piece of all, because
it's balance. masculine, feminine within us all.
Yep. And that actually, if we speak to like the first quarter of this year, that's been one of my problems the first quarter of this year. One of my problems the first quarter of this year is I've not been open to receive. And the reason why is because energetically, I've been shut down in a lot of different ways, just from my own personal experiences in my life right now, what's going on in my life. I've been shut down to reception, and I can feel it. Like it's not something that you can overlook. You actually feel this. There's a block, right? There's this.
And let me give a distinction on that of the feeling, because it's such a great awareness is that you feel contraction rather than expansion.
Exactly.
That's what you feel.
Yep,
it's like something is caving in on you. So here's the distinction for all of us who are listening, is that the moment you feel that, that's a moment of choice. That's a moment of awareness. That's a moment for a breakthrough. Get excited about these moments that are literally like it's like you're in that moment between one level of consciousness and the next. There's a portal there. There's a gateway there. So rather than being down on it, recognize like, I'm having this experience. Wow, I'm in a defining moment.
That's been the piece. That has been the piece. That if you had met me 6 years ago and I was where I am right now over the last couple of months, for me, it would be like, oh, this is a detriment. I'm in a hole. I'm in a pit. I'm not going to succeed. I have all these, but it's not the case. In fact, somebody said, hey, what can I do to help? I was like, you can't do shit to help me. I need to be exactly where I am right now. And if I'm not exactly where I am right now, I'm not going through what I'm going through right now. The next phase, the next thing that kicks off, the next explosion of progress that I have in my life, it will be diminished. It'll be diminished because I sought an early escape, but I don't want to fucking escape it. It has to be processed. The feelings have to be understood. The thoughts have to be considered. The definitions of what I want have to be redefined, because you change, and it's a season of change. And in a season of change, you go through contraction because you have to take a step back. You do have to relinquish forward progress for a very short period of time in order
winter.
It's it, man. It's exactly it. It's fucking winter, bro. It's it. It's winter. And it's been that way for the first quarter. But here's the cool part. The cool part is our phone conversation, this podcast, what you and I have talked about doing together, which I'm uber excited about. But also, you gave me a gift, and I don't know if you realize this or not. When I was, I don't know when it was. It was December. Maybe it was December. It was after your birthday, and I sent you a text message like, "I'm a dickhead. I'm sorry. I made a promise I was going to come back out for your birthday. We're going to go shoot, and we're going to get Patrick out there. We're going to have a great time." And I didn't follow through, and I dropped the ball. And you had a really direct and smart ass response, but it wasn't meant to be smart ass. And I know it, and I remember the response. And I was like, and I would still love to be able to do something with you in the future with what you're doing with Niurka Inc. and what I'm doing with Savage and Haunted Yards. And you were like, well, quote, for someone who couldn't show up for my birthday and follow through with what he said, that's a big ask. And
is that what I said? I don't even remember what it was. Is that what it was?
That was what you said. That was what you fucking said. That's what you said. And I was like, fair enough. Literally, my response was, fair enough. I understand. This is me to own this. I get it. And then so that was a gift.
I think I said something like, if you're not going to show up in this area, what other areas do you not show up in?
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. Like, you want to do business with me. Like, what other areas are you not going to show up in? Because right now I'm something along those lines. You're going to have to look it up.
Now I have to go back and look it up now, because I want to fucking know what you said. Oh no, I can't check it because it was an audio. It's a fucking audio message. So, but this is the other piece. You gave me another gift, and you don't realize this. I don't know if you realize this or not. The other gift you gave me was this. It was the gift of conversation that we had when you got back from your travels. And it was, look, I know what you're doing. I'm excited about your energy. I want you to come be a part of what I'm doing. I appreciate who you are. I have gratitude for who you are. And you made that call, and I was here in Texas and have been here in Texas, and you didn't know all the shit that I've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a breath of life into all the shit that I'm going through and all the battles that I'm facing. And you don't even realize this. You don't even know. That was a gift to me. And it was a gift to me because it wasn't a, hey, fuck you, or any of the other things. It was literally a, hey, I am excited about your energy. I like what you bring to the table. And I don't know where you're at right now. And also I want to do this thing. And I'm like, yes. Yes, 100%. Like, I want to do this thing too. It's really important to me. It's actually really high on my priority list. And so today, for those of you who don't know, we were supposed to do this podcast last night, but we had clients come in, and I'm hosting clients. And so today I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm clearing space. Like, this is happening today because this is a priority. And it's very important to me. And you gave me a little cherry bomb in my butt. You just lit it and like dropped it right underneath my butt, right? I was sitting on the toilet or some shit and it exploded. And that's the drive. And so I appreciate the gift. I appreciate the gift of recognition. I appreciate the gift of gratitude. I appreciate the gift of grace, because you offered grace to me in not following through at the end of last quarter. And if you're listening to this, I want you to understand, if someone shows you grace, gratitude, or appreciation, it is an opportunity for you to recognize and own that it's not that you're deserving of it. It's that because of the content of your character and how you show up, you earned it. And they gifted it to you. And if they don't gift it to you, it doesn't mean you didn't earn it. It just means that maybe they're not in a place to provide that in that moment because they're going through their own shit. And so this is a big deal to me. Like, this is a really big deal to me. So I appreciate that. Also, I want you guys to understand this. Just because we are mentors or business consultants or leaders or instructors or whatever you want to call us, doesn't mean we're fucking perfect. We are in our own journey, and our journey is the thing that gives us the fuel and fire to continue to come back and do more of this. Because again, we, and I say we, Niurka and I both, we want to see people succeed. We want to see them healthy. We want to see them live a fulfilled life. We want to see them define exactly what it is that they want. We want to see them stop being fucking victims on their goddamn couch, thinking that at some point somebody's going to come and fucking rescue them, because it's not going to happen. No one is going to rescue you. No one is going to show up magically one day with $1 million in a fucking satchel and drop it in your lap. No one is going to show up magically one day and define the things that you want. No one is going to show up one day and magically define who the fuck you are. No one's going to show up one day and pull you off your fucking couch and feed you 75 energy drinks and a line of Coke in order for you to have enough energy to actually go do something with your life, rather than continue to sit on the fucking couch and hope, because hope is not a course of action. So if you want to change the thing in your life, if you want to achieve a thing in your life, stop hoping someone is going to rescue you and recognize you have to get the fuck up and you have to go after it on your own. That doesn't mean you don't have to have help. It just means that you have to take the action to define it and stop being a fucking bitch about it and stop being a fucking victim about it. That shit fires me up. Thank you, Niurka. I appreciate you.
I can tell you're fired up. So one of the things I love about you, Adam, is I know that your ultimate focus and devotion, your commitment, is to literally reach through and extract the highest version of everyone that is in your presence. And you have your own unique way of doing it, which is different than how I do it. But at the end of the day, we're both doing the same thing. We're present with people, and we're committed to each one. We're committed to you being and living your best life. Okay. And if that means how we're, I'm reaching in with maybe a softer sense of love and compassion. He's reaching in with a big boot that's going to kick you in the butt. But at the end of the day, it's reaching in and seeing beyond all of the lack and limitation and not enoughness, and extracting and calling forth. It's like an invocation, evoking the highest within you. And one thing that came to me while you were saying that, and I'll just wrap it up with these two things, how important these two things are, is be super mindful of the meaning that you give to the experiences of your life. Like, we are meaning-making beings, and we're constantly giving meaning to things. So what is the difference? Like, you talked about how we're not perfect. The difference, I would say, is like when I have moments where I go, wow, like that, this thing that has showed up is so not in alignment with who I am. And here this thing is. How is this even possible that this is here in my reality? How did I manifest this particular thing? It's the meaning that I give to it. What can I learn? What can I experience? How can I, gather some affirmative meaning to this that integrates and empowers me to move forward in life? Where somebody else, when you talk about the victim gives it a different meaning. So two people can go through similar experiences and give it completely different meanings and have a completely different experience of reality, not based on what happened, but based on the meaning that they are giving to what happened. So I'm going to encourage everybody who's listening to really dial in your meaning, gears, if you will, the dashboard of the meaning that you give to things, and really start asking yourself, what can I learn, from this? What can I learn from this? What is the learning? What is the gift? That's something that I bring into all my courses, is in your moments of your greatest challenge, things that bring you down to your knees, you look in places that you wouldn't otherwise look when you're on your knees. So there is a gift buried in your greatest challenges. Okay. Recognize that there's that gift and focus on that gift. So I am honored to be here with you. Look at this. I'm like, holy water blessings everywhere. I am honored to be here with you. I appreciate, the level of intensity and commitment that you bring into your work. And I use the word devotion because that's what I feel. I don't know if that word resonates with you because we haven't talked about that, but that's, what I see is a fierce devotion, a fierce commitment. And I'm honored to be here with the community. And I'm encouraging all of you to show up next week, okay? I don't know when this is going to actually air, but there's something that we have for you that is a gift for you. Once you've invested like a lifetime and you have these breakthroughs and you are able to literally experience your life transform. I ran away from home when I was 15 years old. Can you imagine a 15-year-old girl on the streets? Life was hard, okay? And I transformed my life. And when you have these experiences, what you want to do is you want to give, you want to share, you want to empower, you want other people to not go through those experiences and lift up. So come to Manifest Your Vision. It's niurkainc.com, niurkainc.com/savage. Okay. /savage. And we're going to guide you to clarify your vision, have it be big, have it be authentic on purpose for you so that you bring it into manifestation with velocity. Mm-hmm. I love that word velocity. Velocity means speed and precision. Okay, speed and precision. And the most fastest way to do that is to align. You're not going to do it on your own. You want to align. It's like all these dots have come together because of relationships. It's one of the most powerful and precious gifts that you will have in your life. Meaningful relationships where where you're having that challenge, you can pick up the phone and call Savage, or you're having that challenge, you can pick, look, you're writing your brain. That's what's happening on my phone right now. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful for this time together, our first podcast together. And I'm grateful that we have such different approaches. I think that's another thing too, is recognize, look for that common, that through line that as you begin to, attract the people that you're inspired to be your allies, your confidants. One of the life's most precious gifts. Who are your confidants? Who are your allies? Who's your community? Who are your friends? And plugging in. So you're invited to plug in with us. Manifest your vision. I will see you there. Thank you, my friend.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Niurka. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being here and doing this and just bringing all your awesome to the Savage Freedoms podcast. And guys, one more time, it's niurkainc.com/savage, niurkainc.com/savage. If you have any desire or any interest, you need to go and check out her website. You need to read more information about this phenomenal woman, learn more about her story because it's powerful, and learn more about not just her story, but her connections. I want you to understand really quick, this is really important, and we're going to end this, but I want you to understand that she created a life that she wanted based on the actions that she took by literally speaking it into existence. And this is not some bullshit foo-foo, rah-rah, hippy-dippy shenanigans. It's not. It's actually a real thing. And if you can wrap your head around the possibility that you don't fucking know everything and you do something different, you might find that new opportunities present themselves. So with that being said, thank you, Niurka. And if you're listening to this at home or you're watching this video right now, you always know that at the end of the day, there's only two options that you have. You can sit down, you can crack your beer open, you throw your feet on your coffee table, you can just be okay with being okay, or you can go fucking get it. This is a Savage Freedoms podcast.